welcome to another Drive-In Double Feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before anything at all, we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. It's got some fun games, some fun conversations, just a good old time there between two friends, which I have a good time doing with. And Nathan, I hope you do as well, because it's only $5 a month and it doesn't affect any regular content whatsoever.
Mhm.
But today we are continuing our series of Godzilla with Godzilla 2000, which is directed by uh, Takao Okawara. Um, this is from 1999. It was released. This one is different for me because we just got done talking about the American Godzilla movie,
Mhm.
which that was my technically first Godzilla movie to see in theaters.
Mhm.
And I remember telling you that, I was really disappointed by it. And I really was looking for something a little more Godzilla like that. I was like, this really wasn't the Godzilla I was wanting. So when I saw there was an ad for Godzilla 2000, and I saw that they were actually going to be releasing it in theaters in America, and I was just like, oh wow. I couldn't believe that they were actually going to release like a proper Godzilla movie in America because all the other movies never really had a proper release.
Mhm.
And this movie was actually the last movie to do so, to have a proper release until Godzilla -1.
Really? I didn't even realize that. Wow.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla, which we'll talk about eventually, that had a limited release, but
Mhm.
this was the last movie to have like a wide release in America until
Gotcha.
Godzilla -1. So I remember watching it. I remember enjoying it immensely because I was like, yes, yes, this is the Godzilla I wanted on the big screen.
Mhm.
And I bought the DVD from it, and I still have that DVD to this day.
Wow.
And and I was able, so the one I watched it for this turnaround, I got to rewatch it on the DVD that I had bought when it originally came out.
Wow. So we're talking like old DVD. Was it a flipper disc?
No, it was
Oh,
not. It
okay.
was
Oh, wow.
it had that. It's funny, like you go on there, there's an audio commentary, and
That's pretty big.
there's a behind the scenes thing, but it's literally only like 2 minutes long. It just says behind the scenes, 2 minutes.
But that was a big deal
So,
then.
oh yes. And I was really excited to watch this one because I did rewatch this one quite a few times.
Mhm.
So I was really interested to see how well it would hold up um 26 years later.
Crazy to think that we're 26 years away from the millennium.
Oh yes, insane.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I was really excited for this one. This one is Toho's first foray back into Godzilla since Godzilla versus Destroya. So this is about 4 years afterwards. Um,
Mhm.
like I said in the last video, the original plan was they were eventually going to go back to Godzilla at the 50-year anniversary, which would have been 2004. So
Mhm.
they would they're about 4 years early on that one. And the whole reason why that is because apparently when Toho originally saw Godzilla, they were so dissatisfied with it
Mhm.
that I think I read something like 2 months after the release of the American Godzilla, they immediately went into production for that one,
Mhm.
for this movie right here, because they were so displeased with it, and they were like, no, we cannot have that be the last thing people see for Godzilla. We need like an actual proper Godzilla movie. And this is the one they made. And like I said, Sony was kind of disappointed with the returns from it, so they weren't really that bothered by it. So, but since they still had the American rights to the movie, they were actually the ones to distribute this movie in America.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, um, Before we get into the movie, though, Nathan, how did you watch this movie? What was the what was the dubbing situation like? Was it dub,
Oh,
sub?
it was dubbed, and that was the only way I could find it like rentable for me, where I could easily rent
Mhm.
it was the dub version. Uh,
And that's how I watched it as well.
okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so like before, like we said in other ones, Toho did have their own English version dub that they made for
Hmm.
this movie that was originally going to be the one for international markets. But Sony said the version sounded pretty ridiculous. Like all the characters like sounded very American. Like with like they said there were some characters that sounded like they were from Wisconsin. So
That's funny.
um, Sony actually did their own dub of this movie. They actually got their own Asian American voice actors, so that way they would at least sound like the characters that
Yeah.
they'd be portraying. Like it would be believable the way that they're talking. Um, and that's how this movie kind of gets started. We get Godzilla almost right away in this movie. It is very early. We get to see him,
Hmm.
and it's from originally. So how it starts out is there's these three people. There's a father and a daughter and a lady reporter, and they are part of the Godzilla Prediction Network.
Yes. And can I say, happy to see reporter characters back. Those are a time-honored Godzilla tradition, even in the American one. So, and then this one, she's a photographer.
Yes.
Mhm.
She's been tasked with getting pictures of Godzilla, and she needs them on his desk by tomorrow.
That's what I was just thinking of. Um, and she's painted as an idiot, pretty much an imbecile, I should say, as they call her in this movie, because she does not
Right.
want to do this job.
Yeah, the little girl in this movie is kind of a brat sometimes, and
Yes.
calling this woman an imbecile, and like even later, she's like, "Oh, I want to come back and join on your ride again." She's like, "Oh, well, here's the imbecile rate."
So messed up. Uh, and that's the so just the way they speak in the dub version. I'll be very honest with you. I don't like the dub of this movie. I think watching it with the dub, I think did a disservice to it for me, and I wish I would have picked the sub version or had the time to watch it because I honestly feel like I would have maybe appreciated it more. I think the dub action in here can be a little rough.
I'm going to disagree a little bit with that. I mean,
Mhm.
just I guess I'm more used to like completely cartoonish, ridiculous voices.
Because that's what
And I
this
mean,
is.
I do you think that?
Yes, yeah. At the end of the movie, when the dude falls and he like yells his name for like ever, forever,
Uh,
the little girl
there,
is very goofy, doesn't sound like a little girl. I thought it was rough.
I don't know. I guess I'm used to a lot worse, I feel
Yeah,
like. So maybe I'm giving this movie too much credit, but I wasn't too bothered by the dub.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
No,
Huh?
I get
I
it.
get it. I get it. No, I mean, I know, I get it. That's just something we'll have to, agree to disagree on.
Sure.
I wasn't into the dub at all, but I'm not going to say it's a bad movie just because of the dub. I mean, we've watched movies with much worse dubs here on the channel. Plenty of Italian
True.
flicks.
Very true. And to your credit, I feel like I have not ever watched the sub version to this movie, and that could be a completely different viewing experience.
True.
Um, but however, though, I will say that um, people do say the actual cut of this one because there's 10 minutes actually taken out of the Japanese one for the American dub.
Really?
So
Okay.
it it's 90 this one's about a 90-minute movie versus the 100-minute movie
Hmm.
of the other one. And from what I've read, the consensus seems to be that the American dub, at least the pacing of the movie is much better than the Japanese one.
I actually read that too. I kind of looked through the letterboxd reviews, and it actually, I said what I said about the subs, but I actually saw plenty of people say like, "Oh, this movie's really long and boring and blah blah blah," and it seemed like that was mainly the Japanese version that they were talking about.
Could very well be, but I would still be interested to watch it at some point.
Yeah.
Um, Now, like I said, this movie is the Godzilla Prediction Network. They're trying to predict Godzilla's movements so that way they can warn people in advance and let them know. And the reporter is just there because she's got a hot scoop and she wants to take a photo of it. And
Mhm.
they're able to get very close to Godzilla within a couple of feet of him, and she's able to take photos of it. But when she takes it to the news reporter's desk, he's just like, "No, this isn't good enough. This looks just like a big, like blurry
That's
image."
right, because the radiation messes with her camera, supposedly, which is interesting because they
Yeah,
never brought that up before. But I thought that was actually a pretty cool little fact. And let me
yeah,
say, Godzilla's new design rocks. He is a hardened, evil-looking monster in this movie.
yeah. This suit in here is, I think he looks great in this movie. Honestly, like one of his
Mhm.
best designs, I'll say.
Yeah,
Um,
he looks really cool. The suit.
and he's based off of the King Goji suit, which is the suit from King Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay.
So like if you look at the profile of the two suits, they look very similar. Um,
Mhm.
if you look though, like one funny thing though is like this Godzilla suit is actually green for once because Godzilla is normally like has like he looks more like kind of grayish sometimes with his suits.
Yeah.
He's not like a full green. This one is a very very green suit in this one, and his dorsal fins are almost purple too.
Yeah, yeah, he has a little more he's a little more colorful, which I liked. Which Ryan, I hate to say it, I know how much you love this movie, or at least I think you love this movie. I thought the special effects in this movie were really bad. So like he himself looks really good, but this movie uses a lot of CGI, a lot of green screen, and I think a lot of it is not implemented well.
Yeah, I'm willing to admit this movie has not aged well at all.
Yeah.
It is um I think the action scenes in this movie are very good. Like the practical effects in this movie, I
I
think are
agree.
still very impressive.
Yes.
Um, but the CGI, it's not there
Mhm.
from a technical standpoint. They're still way too behind before
Mhm.
they could really refine this. And they rely on CGI a lot in this movie.
Mhm.
And like there's some scenes too, like did you notice like even like when she was like in her office building at work, like they had her like it was like a very obvious green screen like that was from her window because you could see like the
Yes.
outline. And there's a scene too when Godzilla like walks out of the water, which looks especially bad.
Yes, where it's like the green screen on it or whatever is super hazy. It just looks really bad. There's that. There's a scene where Godzilla almost karate chops, or no, no, not karate chops. He hits him with the tail, the main monster, and the motion on it is just so quick that it just looks really bad. So it's moments like that that are just like they kind of play against like the actual good stuff, like Godzilla falling in the buildings and it's real practical buildings. Love that stuff. But
Mhm.
then there's just moments like that are just that just don't feel right.
Yeah. I totally agree. I wish they would have leaned a little more into the practical effects, even though it probably still would have looked a little cheesy, probably with like the saucer, like the flying UFO
Hmm.
and things like that. But I think it would have looked better than what they went with because this just ages this movie terribly with the CGI. Especially there's a scene where Godzilla's swimming underwater, where
Oh my God. That
he
one
looks
does,
like a PS1 game.
yeah, it doesn't even look like a PS2 game, which would have been out then. It looks because like even the background in that scene is like clipping, like it's like missing. It's rough. It's rough, dude. And I mean, like once again, I can't hate like a movie based on like its classic CG, by its like dated CG, but it just also makes it hard to watch.
I will say though, younger me, 26 years ago me, was wowed by this movie.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, for the time, like it's just like all that's the problem with CG is like at the time, yeah, it's cool. Like Transformers 1, great looking movie. I'm sure if I watched it now, No, not it does, 20 almost 20 years later, I wouldn't feel the same way.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It's a movie that definitely is of its time with the CG, and it would
Yes.
have. It's not like one of those where you can go back and watch Jurassic Park, and it's like a 30-year-old movie that still looks amazing.
Hmm.
But you know, we watch this one, it's very clearly that they're using a very outdated CG.
Yeah.
Um, but getting into the actual like plot of the movie is that once they are walking around, they do find Godzilla. Godzilla in this one is he's not a good Godzilla. He is still evil in this one.
Hmm.
He's still attacking buildings. Um, he's not all the way evil, but he is not a good monster by any means. He's not a good kaiju. He's still destroying buildings and killing people.
Hmm.
Um, eventually, they do find what they believe to be a UFO, and they estimate that it's been underground underwater for 60 million years, is what they say.
Yes, yeah. It's been down there for a long time. And I guess it's
Been
the
down there,
sun that powers it. So it's like been hiding under there.
yeah. And once they bring it out, the UFO does come to life and it's able to start flying.
Yeah, and it looks like a giant rock. That's what it looks like at first. Is everyone thinks it's a rock, but then it becomes a UFO that looks like the UFO from Nope. It looks like kind of like a hat, and it kind of does it too because it sits on tops of skyscrapers. It looks like skyscrapers with hats. I kind of liked it.
Oh, is that did Nope have skyscrapers with hats?
No, it did not, but I wish it did. Maybe Nope too.
Maybe,
And
maybe, yep.
yep, if only. Um, but yeah, I thought, I also kind of liked seeing a UFO again because some of my favorite classic Godzillas or favorite moments from classic Godzillas is like alien stuff.
Yeah. It it's a very simple plot to this movie.
Mhm.
There's not some big organization. There's not these cheesy aliens or whatever. It's just there's this UFO, it's flying around and they got to stop it. And there's also a man from an organization. I forget what his name was. Katagiri. He is like dead set on killing Godzilla, and they have these uh armor piercing missiles, and even said like you'll shoot these missiles and it'll go through Godzilla like crap through a goose.
Yeah, that's right. Which this guy is supposed to be painted as like an evil guy, but I kind of I get it. Who wouldn't? This Godzilla, I'd understand wanting to kill Godzilla in this evil timeline.
There's a point in this movie that I thought was so dumb
Uh-huh.
because um like you said, he's trying to kill Godzilla. Godzilla, like I said, is not Godzilla is not a good kaiju at all in this one. Like I said, he is killing lots of people and causing major damage. So, like you said, I could totally see why somebody would want to kill him, but you know, again, the Godzilla prediction, people are like, Godzilla is somebody that needs to be studied. He has a wealth of knowledge in him.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the movie, after everything's done, they're like, why do you think Godzilla still protects us? And it's like, because there's a little bit of Godzilla in all of us.
I thought that was
And
so
uh,
goofy.
and they say that they're like, why does Godzilla still protect us? Well, in the middle of Godzilla destroying Tokyo, like he just goes back and he's like
Yeah,
exploding Tokyo.
yeah, exactly. He's still killing people, and this is after he point blank destroys a building like that they're in, right? That like they say that after they he wrecks the building that these people are in, right? Which is
Hmm.
insane behavior. But yeah, I mean, these guys are just that's kind of like it's almost like they're quirky. They're so into Godzilla, they're quirky. That's all they care about. And even the daughter is just so obsessed with Godzilla and extremely smart. Um, which is where a lot of the silly humor comes from. And like you said, this guy's a bad guy, and I guess they make him extra evil, where like he's willing to blow up a building that these our main characters are in just to kill Godzilla.
Well,
Or no, no, sorry,
because
to kill the UFO actually.
they're in the UFO lands on the building and like the building, like the UFO's like tentacles, like tendrils, like come out and like hook into the building.
Hmm.
And the reporter, she sneaks into the building and she's like, I'm trying to steal, like, I'm trying to download all the data and figure out what they know. And they're like, what are you doing in there? And so the father, he has to run in there and try to get her out. And he's able to get her out, but he like falls down an elevator shaft, like when he's like trying to grab the elevator cables, which would destroy your hands.
Yes.
Like your hands would just be bone at that point.
Ugh.
And,
Yeah.
and
Go ahead.
but yeah, it so he's stuck in that building. And again, like they tell him like, oh, Shinoda, he's still in the building. He's like, blow it up anyway.
Yeah, which I gotta say, the reporter, she goes and downloads the data, but throughout the whole movie, multiple times her laptop is getting hacked, which she has the most nonchalant reaction to her computer getting hacked, where she's just like, "Oh, my computer's getting hacked again," and then they just kind of watch like this, like like this code pop up on her screen. If my computer was getting hacked, I wouldn't just be like, "Oh, it's getting hacked. Someone's using it." It'd be like, "Shut this shit down instantly." I'm not letting someone take my data, but she's just, "Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter."
Right. Well, I mean,
Different
what were you
time, I
gonna hide
guess.
on there? What were you gonna hide on there in 2000?
I don't know. Godzilla information that they do take. It's a top secret Godzilla info.
Yeah. Um, because that is the one thing this UFO does want is it's looking for information, and so much so that it's trying to become a clone to Godzilla.
Because I guess it sees it as like an all-powerful being, so it wants to become that. Which is cool. Have you ever played Sonic Adventure? Uh,
No.
okay, well, so the main monster in this movie, it actually transforms into like a monster at one point. And it's like all silver CGI. I was gonna in Sonic Adventure, the bad guy looks exactly like this, kind of like a wet, like silver drop, but not always. It does become a fully formed monster, which once again they get the suits right. The bad monster in this movie is really cool looking.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, it I like the design of the monster this one. I mean, I think he's
yeah.
pretty cool looking. Um, I like it starts like you said, it's a UFO. It starts destroying buildings. It has like this cloning type array where it's like trying to steal Godzilla's like
Hmm.
image, and it also has a blaster as well. And there's a point where it shoots Godzilla and Godzilla just goes crashing back down into the ocean. Like Godzilla gets hit so hard. And that
Hmm.
thing that kind of takes Godzilla out of the movie for a little while.
Yeah, I was
And
surprised. He's actually out of the movie for a little. Not as much as some other Godzillas. This movie has more Godzilla action than most.
would you believe that this is one of the movies that has the most Godzilla in it?
No, I wouldn't be surprised actually. I kind of felt that this movie kind of felt like it had more Godzilla in it.
Has a lot of Godzilla compared to other ones.
Hmm. Which, hey, is
And
always welcome. And this movie feels so like way more Godzilla focused than they have in a while, because the whole plot revolves around Godzilla, where sometimes like there's like relationship things or maybe like
or
familiar
like
storylines.
evil company, evil
Yeah,
organization.
but this is like everybody is focused on Godzilla in this plot.
Yeah. Um, it's very Godzilla heavy. And then once the UFO is able to actually take shape, he kind of looks like a mixture of, I'd say like probably like Biolante and
Mhm.
Godzilla, sort of. He's got like
Yeah.
these really long tentacle type thing. He's got these giant claws, and he's got like this gaping mouth.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like almost like a scorpion. He's like bug-like, and he's like that. He's really buff. Like he's a really big monster, very strong looking. Not a lot of gimmicks either, which I kind of liked. He's a very, very basic kaiju, but I kind of maybe I guess I like that back to basics approach almost. That's kind of this almost feels like that. Like we're upping it for the new millennium. Everybody looks badass and dark, but it's still kind of like a little more basic. It's not. I say that, but there's aliens. There's a giant UFO alien spaceship from 65 million years ago flying around. But even then, I still feel like it's a little more back to basics.
I, it I think it is. I mean, because they do have like a hand-to-hand fight, at
Yes.
certain point. Um, at first, like this monster is so big and powerful, it's able to like overpower Godzilla. It bites into his arm, and um, it's causes a lot of damage. It's not as bloody as I've seen other. There's like some from the 70s. Remember, that was just like a
Yes.
bloodbath, Uh,
Yeah.
and this one's comparatively is pretty tame for that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but they kind of have a little back and forth. I mean, I really like there's one part where you get like an actual close up of Godzilla, which I think is a puppet head or
Hmm.
whatever. It's a very animated face.
Hmm.
Um, and then this monster is able to kind of like unhinge its jaw like a big snake, and it's
What a
deciding that
sequence.
it's gonna eat Godzilla,
Yeah.
and it just starts slowly eating away at Godzilla and starting getting him into his mouth. And the sequence I still remember. I remember seeing the sequence in the theater and just like it's like, oh my God, type
Hmm.
of thing. And is Godzilla while inside of this monster's body, like in its mouth, he's able to shoot his atomic breath down this monster's throat, and he just kind of explodes him from within and just starts raining down parts of the monster. And the monster's name, by the way, is Gorga or Orga.
Orga. Okay. Which is, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty cool way to kill him. Now, whenever he started swallowing him whole, I was like, okay, I know how this is going to end. He's going to kill him from the inside, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, no, if you've seen enough movies, you would know. I mean, but for me at the time, like I said,
Oh yeah, being a
it's
kid,
something I never had seen before.
yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of where it ends. Godzilla is victorious, still evil because they go onto this rooftop, and Katagiri, the evil one, is just staring at him. They're like, "We need to go," and he's like, "No, I'm staying here. I'm gonna."
It's kind of badass. He's smoking a cigarette too, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna just
Yeah,
watch God." And Godzilla hones in on him. I'm just so surprised that Godzilla is like, "Yeah, I'm go." Godzilla never seemed the type to actually care about one person, but here he cares about one person.
Go- Godzilla is staring this man down. Like,
It
like,
almost felt like an anti-smoking ad. Like Godzilla is like, "Are you gonna? Are you breathing this in front of me?" And it smacks him down on the skyscraper.
yeah, and the guy's he's not moving. They're trying to pull him away. He punches out the father, like, leave me, and
Hmm.
Godzilla just drops his little claw fist down, and like you said, he screams out Godzilla.
That's this kind of just this overall maybe felt a little goofy, a little goofier. It feels inspired by maybe more maybe more anime focused. I feel like I could see like this being a little bit inspired by some anime. It felt like it to me.
Yeah, I could see that. It definitely felt like they were trying to go a little more epic with it, but
Yeah.
that's kind of where they ended. Like I said, they had that little speech at the end where they're like, "Oh, why does Godzilla? There's a little bit of Godzilla in all of us," and again, just a very eye-rolling line. You're just like, "Oh
Mhm.
my God, I can't believe that's how they end this," and and then that's just kind of where it ends. Godzilla just he's destroying Tokyo, and then the movie just does a freeze frame, and that's where they end it.
Yeah. But what's next? What
Uh,
happens? I like hearing what happened after the post production or post release.
don't have much because Big Action Bill didn't
Uh,
make one.
damn it, big action bill. Well, I do know one thing is that they did plan a direct sequel to this
They
one,
did,
but
yes.
that did not go anywhere.
No, and actually it was supposed to be called Godzilla Reborn, and it was actually going to be directed by Joe Dante,
Oh, that would have rocked. I would have been all
and
for that.
it would have been a very tongue-in-cheek type of movie,
Oh, never
um,
mind.
that would have had a lot of special effects from Toho, but it would have been funny.
Okay, never mind. This would not have been good. I actually can feel it right now. What did Joe Dante do instead? What did he make at this time? Oh, that's right. Looney Tunes
Oh,
back in action. That's what he did instead of that.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Which I've never seen, but I've heard it's bad.
I would have to rewatch it again. But yeah, it would have been Godzilla in Hawaii,
What, like
which he
Beetlejuice
did,
goes Hawaiian?
which he did go to Hawaii at some point, Nathan. He does go to Hawaii.
He does. I do remember. Yeah, he does go to Hawaii. You're absolutely right.
Um, this movie though was, let's see, it was they expected it to gross about um 40 to 50 million, but it ended up grossing about 15.
Oh, ooh, that's rough. Do you think at least in America, the reputation of the last movie might have damaged this one quite a bit?
Yeah, because this one only made about 10 million in America.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's also a big ask to, even at that time, to get people to go see a foreign movie. Even if it was dubbed, I think it was still a big ask of people.
I yeah, I kind of think the 1998 Godzilla movie turned off a lot of people to it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I could be completely off base, but
Hmm.
that's just my opinion. I think it was just that, and like you said, like saw like the big rubber suit, and they were just kind of like, oh, that looks stupid too.
Yeah,
So
they wanted CG. Well, no, they just probably didn't want Godzilla at all.
that's kind of what I assume. But like I said, this was the last film to have a wide release in North America. We wouldn't get another one until 23 years later. So, which we'll get there eventually. We'll talk about that one. But
Hmm.
um, for me personally, does this movie hold up as well as I thought it did? No, it doesn't.
Dang.
It's not, it's not as epic as I remember it because I mean, I had given it a pretty high score from what I remember on my letterbox
You
when
gave it a 4.5. Yep.
it was a lot better in my mind, and it might have been nice to have kept it that way.
I know
But
that feeling exactly.
but I still enjoyed it for what it was.
That's good.
It's it's not my favorite Godzilla movie, but there is I think there is enough in there that if you're a Godzilla fan, you'll enjoy it because there are still some really good sequence of special effects. There's some really bad ones, don't get me wrong, but there's still good in there, and I think maybe too it could be improved if maybe we watch the sub version
Hmm.
and maybe have gotten a little better on the acting.
Yeah, which I mean, like, yeah, that's just that's me because I looked it up and a lot of people rate this one highly from what I saw. At least the people that I follow rate this one pretty highly. And I felt like I was below the averages of what I was seeing because personally, I really wasn't feeling this one. There are parts of it that I like. There's things that I admire about it. I don't think it's entirely like the worst Godzilla movie or anything, but something about the special effects, the dub I watched, this is crazy to say because I didn't see anyone else saying this. I thought it was kind of dull at times. Anytime I didn't really like the main characters, didn't like the little girl. She kind of got on my nerves. So just overall, I wasn't really enjoying this one. And that's kind of was like maybe the sub one would make me help me appreciate this a little bit more. But that's why I personally wouldn't recommend this one.
I can understand that. Um, but like I said, I would probably give it a light recommend overall.
Mhm.
If I was going to adjust my letterbox, I'd probably knock it down to a 3.5 or a 3. So
That's quite a
um,
fall.
yeah, like I said, it was a lot. The memory of being seeing it in the theater and getting
Hmm.
that actual experience was really something special to
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah.
I really still cherish that. Like this, I can't hate this movie because this was one of those that reinforced what I loved after being so disappointed by the last movie, and then
Yeah.
you actually go see this one, and you're just like, okay, this is why I like this series.
And I think that's true. A lot of people say like they try to make like opinions outside of nostalgia, but sometimes nostalgic feelings are so strong that you can escape that. Like you're gonna always have this heartfelt
Mhm.
reaction to this. Like there's plenty of bad movies that I just enjoy because I remember really liking it as a kid, and that's just unfortunately you can't get away from those feelings. And I mean, like, I'm happy you have that because that does sound really cool to actually, after watching a really awful Godzilla movie, an actual awful Godzilla movie, you get to see something really cool, something that you grew up with, and you got to see it in the on the big screen.
Yeah. Definitely.
Mhm.
But I think that's going to do it. So, Nathan, what are we going to be talking about next time?
Well, Ryan, so last week we took a little break. I think it would be funny to do this. Last week we covered a Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton movie, and I was like, oh, but there's another one. There's another movie with both of them. So I decided to we're gonna watch A Simple Plan from 1998. And that one is actually streaming over on Amazon Prime. Uh, but Ryan, what are we covering on Thursday?
Well, terrific. Can't wait. Nathan, this is a movie that I've heard about pretty infamously for a long time, and I've actually been wanting to watch it for a while. And I saw that it is streaming on Tubi right now. So I thought this would be a really good time for us to talk about it. So, Nathan, today I'm going to select for Thursday, we're going to be watching the movie Serenity.
Yes. Oh my God. You looked at my I've watched that movie multiple times and I am excited. Oh man, I get an excuse to watch Serenity again.
Yeah, so we'll be watching Serenity. Like I said, it's streaming for free on Tubi.
Awesome. I'm excited.
All right. If you have any thoughts and opinions, please email us over at drivein-double-feature-podcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our YouTube, youtube.com/drivein-double-feature-podcast. And once again, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/drivein-double-feature-podcast. But until next time.
Until next time.